Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant. We've got 7 seals. Okay, I have a special presentation, brothers and sisters, I've been talking about, so I decided to go ahead and do it today. I'm going to talk about money. First, right, the treachery. I spoke about that, and treachery is unforgiving. Every nation deals harshly with traitors. And we have traitors amongst our midst. Not demons, traitors. It's not that they're unintentional traitors, but they know they're traitors because they know they're lying. Like this so-called one on the weekend, his sister pointed out in a video where he's talking to Abrahamic covenant, where he speaks about the vision, and the covenant's the next line, he doesn't speak to it. So he knows he's lying. They all know he's lying. But I'm not gonna. What's reserved for them is harsh, brothers. You don't want to, you don't want any parts of that. Believe me, you're gonna see some things you never thought you'd see before. You never thought you'd ever see us. Put that away. So let me move on. Okay, I'm gonna say a couple of things here. You know, before I get into it, I keep saying this is not off track, but I'm just jumping the gun a little bit. We're a body. Now the Christians, they call it the body of Christ. Now I'm not sure if they know what they're talking about or whatever. I'm not even sure that's even in the scripture. Body of Christ. What's the term they use? We are a body. A little body. A nation, we're a body. Right? And well, you had Shabazz body, but now we included the Levites in, because they wanted to be a part, right? So they've been adopted into the body. But see, when you say it, like I say, I give you idea, I put ideas out there for you, but you have to take it. It's like seeds. What good is a person walking around with seeds in their pocket? Got a pocket full of seeds. It reminds me, you know, I was getting some on Amazon, right? I went and I was going to get, you know, they got you can buy groceries and stuff on it too, right? And they ship it overnight. We actually do it the same day sometimes. And so I got some cabbage, not cabbage or lettuce, right? So you know, I normally do the grocery shop, but my wife, she's been doing it lately. She forgets stuff. So, you know, and I do the cooking, so I was preparing her some sandwiches, some salmon sandwich. She likes salmon, right? With no lettuce. So I went in Amazon and said, give us lettuce, right? You gotta be careful with that stuff, boy. And I get the stuff back. I'm looking at where's it? So I said, sister, you know, where's the lettuce at? It's a little packet. I said, little packet, it's right here. Send me some seeds. They planted. I said, boy, and I wouldn't use $4. It wouldn't waste my time to call them back and, right? So I just went and looked at this carefully, make sure I got it. Anyway, just a side issue about this little boy. Oh, it was already $4. I said, man, I'm not even wasting time calling them and telling them they did it wrong, whatever. For $4, forget it, right? I said, man, because you know they assured that, but they should you need the fine print. It says seeds. These devils, boy. Anyway, so what's good? You got a pocket full of seeds. What good is it just in your pocket? You got to plant them. And that's what angel message, the seeds. Seeds out there, you got to make them grow. Because see, the thing is, you know, you got seeds for everybody. Because of your body, I mean, like, and I don't mean this, like, just, everyone has a talent. So some are heart cells, some are lung cells, some are butt cells, some are foot cells. Really, right? The fleet cells, right? They probably think in transportation modes. Moving stuff around, I mean, that's, they think, and they're good at it, right? Heart cell could be art, could be music, right? Could be a lot of things that has, you know, effect on the heart, because usually, you know, music and stuff, that's usually emotional kind of stuff. I'm just saying in general, that specific, because it could be other things, right? And like, as for myself, right? See, or let me put it this way. See, the thing is, this whole system is designed to suppress your nature, because you have a nature, but your nature, your quality of nature, right? You have original nature, but the quality of it is like a foot cell, arm cell, leg cell, whatever. And they frustrate that. How do they frustrate it? Okay. Say you naturally, you have natural engineering talents, natural. Okay, when you go to school, they teach you. Then they're not gonna start teaching you that up front. They're gonna try to teach you get general curriculum. So, then you spend what first 12 years of your life just teaching them what they want to teach you. Not maybe not even focus on engineering at all. Zero. Right? And then you go to college. Okay, I want to be an engineer. Now you can start focusing on that. But look, look how many years you lost already. 12 years. The most informative years was when you was growing up. If you'd have been teaching you engineering as you were growing up, man, look how good you'd have been by the time it'd been, because your mind was still forming and stuff, right? Now it's clouded all this other crap that you don't need. They feel you have a lot of stuff that you don't particularly need, and then so now, but then when you go, if you can go to college, because now it costs you a whole lot of money. So you may have to end up working Burger King or Popeyes, whatever. So now that's a distraction because you can't focus totally on engineering. So by the time you get around to it, then you go to college and they got to take all those other side issues they want you to take and everything else. You see what I'm saying? So by the time you get to it, look how much time you wasted. Okay? As you devote other things. And at my time, maybe you may forgot about it altogether. Maybe you got married and everything, got children. That man, I ain't got it. You see? And then there's no one here to, because I know, and you know, Malcolm, I ain't for Malcolm because I said he's a turncoat, but I had the same thing happen to me. They see you're good at a certain thing, they steer you away from it. Oh man, you why don't you be a janitor or something? Because I was good in science and math. I was the best in the class. I think I told people about that situation where I had this teacher, she was a Jewish teacher. One of her legs was crippled or something, because you know she had a brace on her leg. Miss Landau, that's her name. I was in 7th grade, and during lunchtime, right, everybody go down in the playground and play handball or something, right? So somebody hit their handball, knocked over to the yard. They couldn't get it, so I had one at my desk. So I ran upstairs to get the handball out of my desk during lunchtime, right? I go into class, all the white kids in the class. It was an integrated school in Newark. All white kids sitting in the class. So why they all in the class, right? And she's teaching, she got something on the board, and she got all these numbers and letters on the board. I looked at her and said, what the hell is that? I never saw numbers and letters mixed together. I said, what's that? She raised the board real quick. Oh, it's nothing. She was teaching them algebra. This is a fact. She was teaching them algebra. And I was the best math student in the class. The best one. In fact, I was the best all the way around, to tell you the truth. Right? She was teaching it. I didn't find out until I got to high school that that's what she was teaching them, algebra. Right? They try to steer you away. I tell you, everything. See, we got these people. Oh, they Democrat. You get people talking about, man, I'm in the National Guard. They don't understand. They so deceived. They don't realize this whole thing is against you. Totally 100%. Totally 100%. Because if they got you beating yourself, how can it be more against you? People have you actually beating yourself. They don't have to beat yourself. That means they're totally against you. So, but the thing was, I always, I had a lot of self-confidence in myself, right? So I don't know if I got that from my father or what. And so I pursued what I wanted to pursue, right? Because I looked in the class, and when I got to high school, I'm looking around. By the time I got to high school, right? And I used to go to the library anyway when I was in grammar school. When I got to high school, I'm saying, wait a minute, teacher, she's teaching, she's teaching from a book. They were teaching from a book. I said, hell, I can read a book. So I was out of high school. I was out there. I didn't finish the first year. I think I went by 2 semesters. I don't know how many semesters there are, but maybe with 1. I was out of there. I started going to the library and getting books and reading and getting myself. I started teaching myself stuff. I said, hell, if she can read it, I can read the damn book. And then I studied what I wanted to study. Right? And that's what I did. I studied science and but at that time I was 14 years old when I started high school. And my father died the year I finished grammar school. So when I started high school, he had passed. He passed out in August 21st, 1963. I got my ex exactly 7 years to the day later. 7 years, August 21st, 1970. Anyway, so, and all I wanted to be when I was a child, all I wanted to be was a scientist. That's all I wanted to be, a scientist. So I was studying science and stuff, right? And that kind of like, and I guess everybody thought I was hard-headed and stubborn, because nobody could control me. But they couldn't control me in the military either. But they had a hard time controlling the military. They couldn't control me. I always did what I was supposed to do. I took care of my job, but they couldn't control me. And when I realized that these people had been lying to me and that they was the enemy and all that kind of stuff before I knew about devil stuff, I walked away like a... But what I'm trying to say is that I was always in tune with my nature as I understood it. I was like maybe hard-headed or stiff-necked, whatever you want to call it. And I wouldn't, in other words, I decided I wanted to do something I did. I don't care what anybody said. I didn't care how they felt about it. I would have thought about me, whatever. And so I just kept studying stuff because I was in fights all the time when I was growing up. When I lived there on Johnson Avenue, which corner of Johnson and Watson, that was there. Everybody hung out there, right around the corner, in the middle of the hood. That's where I lived at. Right, I used to have little gang meetings right down in the basement, and I hung out. I wouldn't what you call a square. I hung out, right, but I still was always fighting all the time because I started talking about science stuff. They said, "Man, get out of that shit," right? And then all of a sudden, man, we into it about something, right? I was respected, but I was different, right? And so I kept, that's what I wanted to do, so I kept doing it. So I guess I was born hard-headed. I don't know. And so I kept on like that, even when I got into Nation and so forth, right? And the only time I ever made a compromise is once I got married. And I go, whoa, no, I gotta take in, I can't make a living being a scientist because I'm not make a living being a scientist, right? I got, I gotta take care of my wife, right? So I did the next best thing. I got into computers. So I had to make a compromise because I really just wanted to study science. Computers, I guess, is close enough, coding and stuff, but I wanted to study physics and math and that kind of stuff. So that's what compromise I made, right? Because that's what we're forced to do in this society, right? That don't mean we have to bend over and just take it in the rear. But the point is, that's why we got to get away from here. So let me move on, brown sisters. Okay. So the point I want to make here is, it's all about energy management. And the thing is, everybody has, that you're born with a talent. Say God gave you a talent. No, it's in your built in your genes. But your talent, since you're part of the body, your talent would be something like if your heart cell, then your talent would be pumping blood. And you'd be good at it, and you love doing it. Okay? But see, when we get home, it won't be like this, because you first of all, we know what your talent is anyway. Nobody's gonna force it on you, because we know DNA, the science. Like I said, we know the total science of it, and everybody's connected. But I don't want to go into that kind of detail right here. But the point is that it'll be identified early. Nobody's gonna force on you. So therefore, you could start acting on that from the cradle. Because that's what you be doing what you, because really, when you watch a child, if you watch a child closely, they'll tell you what their talents, what they like doing. And somebody say, what you doing that stuff for? Because I tell you, I forgot about this one. Like I spent 5 years, my father after my mother passed, right? That was hard, 5 years, right? I used to love comic books. Oh, I love comic books, science comic books, Superman, stuff that was like science stuff, it was with that people wouldn't call it that, but science fiction. I love science fiction, loved it, because that was close I could get to science as a child, right? I loved, boy, I used to get, my father used to give me, what you did, boy, niggas, he didn't call me that, but you always live in them books. He used to throw them away. I hide them, he find them and throw them away, right? And just what happened, I found out years later, if I had kept those books, I'd been a millionaire. Because those old books, people was paying big money to get those old books from back there. They kept them, man. Because I already had about 1,000 of them. Because every time I go out, like I do, go out and work and all that kind of stuff, my father made me work. I had to work all the time. Out of school, I had to shine shoes. I had to go out and deliver groceries, sell deliver newspapers. So I couldn't sit around. But that was right there. And plus, I used to draw pictures about space and stuff. And so it was there, right? See? But he didn't recognize it. And I don't know if mother did or not. Like she was gone by the time I was 9. The people at school knew it, recognized it, and they steered me away from it. See? So you can identify that a child right away, but you see, because somebody say, "Oh, are you doing that?" Because you want him to be what you want him to be, instead of letting him be what they want to be. Because they always showing you what they're good at, and you help them cultivate it, right? They weren't good at being a pimp or something. They were trying to be good at that, right? See what I'm saying? So the thing is, and so you start cultivating then how do you think they'd be when they? And for myself, like I said, nobody cultivated. I cultivated myself because I wanted. That's what I wanted to be, and I was going to do it. I don't care what nobody thought. right? And I went to, like I said, my father, hey man, what you doing? You know, because he's a construction worker, and he knew how it was to survive and everything. He worked all the time. He dared to kill himself working, right? But he's being practical. He's being practical, right? And so he want me to be practical. I ain't giving a damn about being practical. This is what I wanted to do, and that's what I was going to do, right? And then like I say, when I got into the Bible, I always saw from a science point of view, because that's the way, you know. So I insisted I wasn't going to let anybody suppress, and so I guess that was me, and so therefore I was able, you know, I prevailed, right? But most people don't; they give up. They let their talent be suppressed, and then they have living a life they don't want, doing things they don't want to do, unhappy. I ain't saying I'm more happy than everything else, but the point is, I feel accomplished because I'm thinking the way I want to think. I'm doing what I can do this job I'm doing. I can do it because of that, but it's not something I want to do. I always said I can get something else in a minute, because I'd rather go back and just be studying and do my science, right? So I'm just saying, everybody's got those particular talent, right? But right now, right, it's like I give you seeds and you got to make it grow. I give seeds for all, you know, there's science of it. And you got to cultivate it. What's good to all seeds in your pocket? They ain't doing anything, you got to cultivate it, right? According to your specifications. Right? That's male and female. You know, you got female engineers, female scientists, singers. Then we're gonna have musicians in here. We have to put in music. You got some. The music in here, they're gonna be off the page. Nothing like what you see here. It's gonna be way better than this. And if you don't have discipline, it's gonna, you know, what's gonna blow you? You think you're on crack or something? Because see how this music moves you. What you think the music gonna do is gonna? That's why discipline is very important. Discipline will be what you need to move on in the hereafter. Without discipline, you're not go very far. Because stuff will be so great and everything, you just can't. I can't stop beating them Doritos, man. Oh man, Sister Boy, she sang that song, man. I can't stop dancing, man. I got to play that song all the time. I can't go out, man. I just want to hear her sing. You don't understand that, but that's the way it is, right? And some people go so far they can't go any further. It's just so right? It's just too much, right? It's like a drug or something. It's just you know, you blow a fuse. You know. Anyway, so you have to develop. You have to take, and these seeds you take, and you got to make them grow. Okay? Otherwise, you seed in your pocket. And you ain't going anywhere. Right. And then when you get in the here, if you make it to the hereafter, right? You understand what I'm saying? You have, like I said, you make your own, but you have to know who you are. That's why Master Muhammad said you have no thorough knowledge of self, not someone else, yourself. Who you are. That's why I tell you before, when you get home, you don't even know. You probably won't even recognize yourself once you get there. Because you're not influenced by all the, because you're disciplined. Because right now, the reason why you don't, because you don't have enough discipline to know, to find who you are. Because right now, most of you, if you just think about it, especially children, most of you are a composite of everybody around you. That's why you see everybody, what do you think, what do you call, what do you call a fan, right? A fan. A person that's a fan, right? You see what I'm saying? They move by other people. They're influenced by all these other things, other people. So how can they know who they are if they're influenced by all these? I want to be like him. Or I'm going to the crowd. I got braids because everybody got braids. You see what I'm saying? You don't know who you are. You're influenced by all this here. And you won't know who you are until you get home, enough discipline, and then when you get to tune in, because the only way you can be able to tune in, you have to have enough discipline to be able to separate your thoughts from everybody else, and then you know who you are. And some of you might be totally shocked. Right? Anyway, so that's what I wanted to say. The thing is that everybody has their built, this they call talents, and you have to cultivate it. But some people afraid to cultivate it. Oh man, I gotta eat, I gotta do this. And they'll make the sacrifices to cultivate it. I tell you something, all it's about energy management. Manage your own energy. To find out who you are. Because how you going to create a paradise, you don't know who you are. Before you can create a paradise for yourself, you know who you are. Because right now, you're creating a paradise for who? For the devils. Because you don't know who you are. You're creating a paradise for the devils right now. You're making them rich and paradise for them because you don't know who you are. Let's move on, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to go more. I just want to lay some background there. Quiet for the Storms. We're talking about this war. I'm going to give a little bit on this war. It's getting hot and heavy. Right? They know everybody knows it's going to blow up in a minute. Right? And when it blows up, everybody knows when it blows up, it's going to be dramatic. Right? Much more than it was before. Right? Now, like I said, the Levites, it's all about you, Levites. And I'm your last hope. Because you turn Elijah away from you, you turn God away from you. You got those clowns over there that fall for a demon, Farrakhan. You turn on Elijah like that. Like I said, I'm not coming to you. I'm putting information out there. You got to come and get it while it's time to come and get it. I don't want anything from you. I don't want your money. I don't want anything. I mean, great sacrifice to get information to you. Now let me hit on that for a minute. It takes energy for everything. Now no one, they say the Lamb was worthy. The reason he was worthy because he was the only one willing to put the energy necessary to break those seals. So no one in heaven and earth was able, because it takes maximum energy. And for me to do this, I had to give everything. I had to give my family, I had to give my children, everything. I love my children. I give everything. And they were small at the time. I had to give everything to get this information, this sacrifice. And I'm not benefiting from it. This is total sacrifice, because if you look at it, the Lamb does not benefit from this sacrifice, because once he brings the get together, he gets to Master Prophet Muhammad. It's a sacrifice that he's making, give everything to get information to you. So which thing's going to happen to those people, the traitors and everything? That's when he took and sacrificed his children, his family, everything, his wealth, everything, to get some information to you. And the sacrifice had to keep going. I couldn't just do it for a day and then stop. No, I had to continue. It was 35-year constants. Pouring energy and keep pouring all the energy, pouring all my energy, pouring energy. At first, like I said, for a while, I had my contract business. I had to still provide my family and stuff, right? But as soon as I had to take care of that, right? But then I got rid of all that and total focus, except for keep myself in shape. That's part of the process. Because if I ain't in shape, I can't produce get anything out. So I made that type of sacrifice selfishly, and I don't even want to do it, tell you the truth. I know it's needed. Because like Jonas said, man, it's a waste of time dealing with these people. But do it anyway, and then you hear no response, which things will happen to you? That's sacrifice to save Levites. That's what it's all about. It tells you clearly, right in Exodus, it's Levites. Over and over again, Levites. Malachi, same thing. So if you don't respond, especially if you against it or blocking it, what do you think is going to happen? When somebody made that type of sacrifice, and then, and I'm not asking for anything, I'm never asked for a penny. I ain't trying to tell you to do anything. I ain't trying to control you. I said, if you want to get involved, just make sure you get it right. Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. At any rate, this war, this is the period where all this thing's going to come together. See? That's why I said, lift your head up. This is the period. This is the period of time. You read chapter 12. This period of time when Farrakhan gets cast down. Nation comes together. We get attacked. Before Israel goes down, right? Gog and Magog, crippled, right? Laid out for destruction. This is the period of time. Between now and December, it's going to be like, and if you look at it that way, right? You know, it's going to be some dramatic things happening between now and December. So all those things have to happen. So we know once it jumps, it's already happened, but like I said, they got this so-called ceasefire. They don't even call it a ceasefire, they call it a pause. Right? So we know, right, it's going to be dramatic, more than you can imagine. It's still into next year, but up to December, right, up to that point, that's by December, the nation will have come together. The Levite nation will have come together by December. Okay. And everything will be clear then. See? Because then, as a nation, right, because once you come together, that's it. Once you achieve, right, well, they come together as, but you still got to go to Chief Hajj. So that's just bringing you together. You recognize each other. You recognize your body. So now you wake up. Now you got to do some exercise, put yourself in shape. That's what tribulation is all about. All this is going to happen. And I ain't saying next year, watch the weather. I'm saying between now and December. I watch all different things. Farrakhan go down. The Levites will come together. Then they got to go and get the rest of the people. Right? They want to attack us because if Phosphorus goes down, they got to make a move against us. I'll talk about these things. Anyway, it's dramatic. So we'll see. I'll talk about this. I'm going to get right to my main subject, brothers and sisters. Right? But right now, it's the quiet before the storm. The quiet before the storm. And, you know, my wife and I was watching the news last night, and I watch Fox News, right? And all of them are bad. And when I don't really like watching Fox News anymore. I didn't particularly like it before, but I watched it because they were hysterical. CNN, NBC, all of them, they was hysterical. I mean, people, they were having, conniptions, man. I said, but Fox News, they were hysterical. They lied, but they weren't hysterical about it. I didn't want all that emotional stuff. Oh, Trump is this and that. I mean, I know he's bad, but I don't need all you need to go through all that. But man, Fox, and they got rid of all the people that had any kind of saying anything in near truth. Because that guy, Tucker Carlson, he said years ago, I knew he was going to get rid of him. He says, Iran is not the greatest sponsor of terrorism in the Middle East, and don't believe no matter what anybody tell you. He says they're definitely not. I knew his days was numbered. I knew his day was numbered because he tried to tell his version of the truth, and they finally got rid of him. And so it's been totally emotional ride ever since then. Because that's the only one I was looking at anyway. I just watched his show. So, I watched to see what the state of the news is, but right now it's talking sport. So I was showing her. So I was telling her, I said, they were saying, oh man, Iran just got his butt kicked real bad. Israel really whipped him out and all this stuff. I said, what? So I took over to YouTube. I said, look, I went to about 10 minutes of YouTube. Everything is saying just the opposite. But the way they're saying, man, Israel are not, oh man. See, That's what, when they say darkness, they mean the lies. See? And they believe, most people believe that stuff. Because they don't go research for themselves. And even if you research for yourself, if you don't understand the Israel, you don't know what's going on. Because Farrakhan don't know what's going on. That's why they're not talking about it. Sunday, you talk a lot of bullshit. Prayer, prayer, prayer. Prayer is going to solve your problem, get you out of this. I ain't hear the Bible say nothing like that. It didn't tell when God burned up Sodom and Gomorrah, he told Abraham to pray, or he told him to get out of town. He told him to pray, he told him to get out of town, get the hell out of here. They tell Noah to pray, or tell him build an ark. You know, this is bullshit. And I tell you, when they get hold of those folks, boy, you have no idea. How can you imagine? Noah talking about, hey man, flood come and pray. Pray. Can you imagine that? And that's what they're telling you over here. The Pharaoh's supposed to deliver you and everything else. So you mean after 40-some years of making him filthy rich and his dumbass son, and now that's the message to pray? We could get that message 42 years ago and took him about his business. Y'all just keep praying. Pray. On top of that, God told me to shut up, so why are you telling anybody to do anything? Because if you told you to shut up and you'd have been ventriloquist, right, your little dummy Ishmael should be saying anything either, shouldn't he? That boy, he's dumb off the page. He put the D in dumb. It's all bullshit over there. And when they go down, they're going down hard. And they've made an example of. They're going to make such an example that nobody's going to fuck around with this again, ever. Yeah, I said it again. See, I'm trying to get you to understand, this is serious. This is not, don't throw no manure on me. If that's what you want, you got to go someplace else. Because this is serious, unprecedented. And you'll hear language worse than that. You're going to think language worse than that. Some of you are going to feel worse than that. I'm being real. If that's a problem, turn the station. Pray. Pray. That's his answer. Well, how come you pray for that money you've been getting for some years? He don't have a business at Rice. He's a multimillionaire. And so is his son. His dumbass son, probably Supreme Captain. Are you a multimillionaire? Elijah Muhammad didn't leave him a multimillionaire. He left all the money in the name of the Nation of Islam. That's where he got pissed off about it. Come on, brothers and sisters. Pray. No. We got an answer for you. And you're not going to pray no Wonderland food either. Master Muhammad will give you some real food. That's the promise. Those go to tribulation. You will get real food. And the reason why you go to tribulation is because you didn't listen to Elijah, or you wouldn't have to go to tribulation. But you got to achieve discipline. You got to take and understand, know who you are. Get the angel. Get your mind. You got to get your mind back. You can't go there like this. You can't go back home like this. And you had years. If you had started doing this, even if you started listening 35 years ago, you still would have avoided tribulation. Because you had 35 years to prepare. But you blew that. And so you can't do it in one day. And you're going to have 5 months to do it. That's some hell. Ooh. That's good. Right. Okay. Oops. Here we go again. Hold on, brother, sister. Oh, come on. Hold on, brother, sister. That's right. Let me. Okay. My error. Give me a second, brother, sister. I fix it real quick. Well, okay. Okay, here you go. One second, bro. It's almost there. Okay, bro. So had to get me some of my voice. Yeah, I should do it. Oops. Okay, we'll talk about energy management, because I've gone to another. I shouldn't have to explain these things, but I'm saying these things through. But I gotta get another aspect of this so you can understand it, because it's all about energy management. And people keep telling me, I make assumptions, and apparently I do. Right. So anyway, this is a verse from the Quran. And mothers shall suckle their children for 2 whole years, for him who desires to complete the time of suckling. Right? And their maintenance and their clothing must be borne by the father according to usage. So it's 2 things here. Mothers, one side the mother, one side the father. Let's look at this mathematically. Now remember, this is about energy management, but money is a very important part of this. And I'm not going very deeply. I'm going to go into it enough to maybe you can get some understanding of it, because it's really, well, it's a in-depth subject, but I think I can get you a basic idea. She got the lungs, you got heart, right? That's part of the body. But each needs each other. See? Because the lungs do not produce blood, but it needs blood. And the heart does not produce oxygen, but it needs oxygen. See what I'm saying? So the lungs, right, put oxygen in the blood so it gets that back right to the heart. And the heart, right, feeds blood back to the lungs. And so both of them are happy. The heart doing is love what it's doing. Because this is cancerous. It loves what it's doing. It's happy being a heart. That's all it knows, happy being a heart. It's enthusiastic, right? it's right. So, and the lungs love being alone. It's not a proud, it's no pride, and that's why I said all the proud be stumble. Because in your body, if you're proud, that means, okay, man, I'm better than you, and so I ain't gonna give you no blood, or don't call me no lung man, I want to be a heart like you. You see, that's the problem. Your body, or if you start having a problem with your body start doing stuff like that. So you get a proud person like that, then you got to get rid of them. Because they don't fit in. Then pride is against Hajj. Hajj is humble. Cooperation. Pride is like doing my own thing. I ain't bothered with you. I'm better than you or whatever. See? So that's the way it works. And they call that a symbiotic relationship. It's like we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. But plants, especially trees, they absorb carbon dioxide and emit oxygen. Some people say it's breathing. I'm not sure if that you call that breathing, but it absorbs, and it needs carbon dioxide, just like we need oxygen. So if you got rid of all the trees, right, we'd die. And if we got all the biological beings on the planet, the plants would die, because there's no, you may not realize that, but if you did, both would die, because we need each other. That's the way it works. So part of the body, so everybody has a function, and we love every part of it. If your toe hurts, your whole body suffers. So oh, it's my toe. It's just my toe, man. So no, your toe will stop you cold until you fix it. You want to give total concentration to your toe. Your butt, same thing. Because we love all of it, and all works together. We take care. We wash all of it. You understand? That's just the way it is. They don't have you thinking that way. They say, oh, be independent. Be self-reliant. Well, yeah, self-reliant is okay, right? Be independent. Well, self-reliant, you got to be careful with that one. Be independent. Just go for, what do you call it? Do your own thing. That's what they tell you. Be an individual. Okay? All that's designed to keep you from realizing your body. And so you're doing your own thing, so your body suffers because your heart said, I ain't sending you no more oxygen. I ain't sending you no more blood. I'm doing my own thing. Well, it's going to die. Right? The lungs going to die, and it's going to die. Because it's not feeding the lungs. The lungs not giving oxygen. You see what I'm saying? And that's what they tell you. Be an individual. You're free. Like I had a clown I had to get rid of recently. I'm a man just like you. It's that poison mentality. Okay? So they destroy themselves, and you got rid of them quick, because that's the beginning of a cancer. If that spread, you know what the result is. Let's move on. And see here. Now this is what I'm gonna talk about money. I'm debating how much detail I'm gonna get into, so I'm gonna get into it deep enough, I think. Okay, so say the lungs is giving the heart oxygen. So the heart says, okay, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna give you some money. How much the oxygen costs? Okay, I'm gonna give you the money. What the hell is the lung gonna do with the money? What can I do with that money? It maybe it's worth as much as oxygen, but it needs money. It needs oxygen. I mean, it needs blood. You see what I'm saying? And you starting to get you getting anything out of this? You feel me at all? You give him money. He says, "What the hell am I doing with that? I need blood." The only other thing is, it's going to die, or it's going to find some way to convert that money to blood. That means it's extra work, ain't it? Because now already it's delivered the oxygen, did its job, right? As far as consequences are concerned, that's a valid transaction. That's why I keep emphasizing quality. As far as consequences, valid, because he gave him the value, but he can't use it. He can't use that money. It's the value. It's how much that blood is worth. As far as quantity is concerned, not quality. See? So far as consequence is concerned, hey, that's a balance. He gave $100 in the form of oxygen. He gave $100 in the form of money. So, you see what I'm saying? All right. So now he's got to take and find a way to convert that to blood. That means extra work. If it can do that, otherwise it's die. And if it dies, the heart dies right behind it, because now it can't produce blood anymore, oxygen anymore. Okay. See, I know you never thought of it that way. Let's look a little further. You see here, male and female. Actually, I want to show us another way. Hold on, give me a second, boss. In a second, I want to show something else here. I want to emphasize this point. Oh no. I want to emphasize this particular point here. Okay, yeah. And we'll take 1 second, brothers and sisters. And then here, same thing. Okay. And okay, there you go. It's kind of crude, but I think get the point across. Now show what the Quran says, right? Now here you go. Here's the male. Here's the female. Right? Here's the devil. Right? Okay. Actually, I should actually. Yep, let me do it this way. Oh, give me a second, brothers and sisters. I spent all morning putting this together, and I thought about something. Let me take a second here. Better do it this way. And this one here, that one, right, okay. Okay, do it that way, yeah. Okay, yeah, I do it. And do it. Okay, see here. Here's the male, female, and they two parts, right? So, and the Quran says that she nursed the baby and everything else, right? And the male provides, because she takes, you give her your seed, and she spent 9 months, her energy developing and everything else. So that's your seed that she's doing this for. She's doing it for you. That's your seed, right? So she spent her energy to cultivate that, to grow it in her oven and so forth, right? But she needs food, she needs shelter, and all that stuff to do that, right? She needs that quality. See, it's quality, to my quality now. Because you just give her energy, but right? She needs food. Remember I told you that it's momentous in the head of earth, but it comes up with something. He said it's absorbed by the earth puts in a form that we can use. See, I say these things, but I don't think anybody thinks them through, right? So what happens is that we get energy, right? And so everybody gets so much energy, right? But the earth puts in a form that we can use. In this case right here, the male has put in a form that the female can use. See? Because she needs shelter, right? So, because we one body, right? So both of us get energy, but she has put in a form that we can use, right? Because the heart has to do its part, and the lung has to do its part. You can't ask the lung to do the same what the heart does. So she do her part, And you got to do your part, right? So what happens is, okay, come together, right? And so now she's grateful to you because you're giving her what she needs to give you what you need. You see what I'm saying? You're giving her what she needs, so she's grateful. Thank you, honey. She give respect. See, we weren't able to do that during the Holocaust. We able to do it now. We can, but most of them ain't doing it because they don't understand this concept here. See? So she producing that baby for you, but you got to give it the quality of energy to do that. That's your responsibility, because she needs to produce that. But now if you want to produce it, you want to give it the quality, what happens? You want it to still produce for you, right? But you ain't giving the quality. Well, she gets from the devil. So, who's she thinking? Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Master. That's where she's getting it from. Ain't getting it from you. Then you want to know why she's not respecting you? You're trying to control her and everything else? Where she's getting it from, where she's getting. You still want her to produce for you. Well, how's she going to produce it? Where's she getting the quality from? She ain't getting it from you. She getting it from the devil, from Section 8. Welfare, prostitution, Popeyes, working 20. That's where she getting it from. Because you ain't getting it, but you still want to produce for you. See? So then you understand why she's not respecting you, and she's talking about Jesus and Master, because that's where she's getting it from. They give it a quality. And when they give it a quality, not only that, because when you give it to her, right, then you won't give it to her the way she lacks it. Because you're one body. See, the heart get the lungs, the oxygen, give it oxygen, that's what it lacks, like oxygen. So it gives the lungs get a heart, because it don't give anything. If give, like I said, give money, it's no good. But if the devil give it to her, he give her what he wants to give her. Well, you can live here, you can buy this, you can do that. So now she's not even happy. Because somehow it's controlling her energy. Okay? Now when you control it, right, you control it the way she like it. And she control yours the way you like it. When you had a relationship working right, the lungs are giving the heart, right? Oxygen, that's what the heart lacks. And the heart's giving the lungs blood, that's what it lacks. You see? So, you giving her the food she lacks, the place she lacks, the stuff she lacks. Okay? And she giving you what you lack. And so now you got a good relationship going, a healthy one. Okay? That's not what's happening in our community. Okay? Because we let the devils control. Now, we couldn't help it, but we can help it now. So if you're not doing that, that's because you don't understand this or you don't believe it, because you let the devil control your energy. Instead, you control yourself. You provide putting the food on the table. You go there, oh man, I can't get a job, whatever. Well, okay, if you feel that way, that means not only is she, now she's saying, thank you, Master Jesus, you probably saying it too. Because you ain't producing anything. You lying on the devil. Because where you getting your food from? You getting from the devil too. If she getting Section 8 wealth, you getting it from the devil too. So you thanking the devil too. You better be grateful you cut it off. It's all about energy management, brothers and sisters. That's why we got to get the hell out of here But first of all, you got to get past this. You got to get to understand this before you get the hell out of here. Because if you take in Section 8 and all that kind of stuff, you have no understanding, Angel. No understanding whatsoever. Because that's the message. And you still got a devil's mind. But he told you you need him. He's still your master. And that's what he wants you. He wants you dependent on him. Because he wants to maintain control of you. I don't know if I understand. I'm not going to. Well, let me say another thing. See, the thing is, when you got this scenario here, right? Master's giving you something, but you got to give Master something back in return. Balance it out. Now you got to give Master something back. Because Master's giving to you, you ain't giving anything back. What happens? Now you got negative energy. Somebody give you 1,000, you got to give 1,000 back. That's what the Quran tells you. You know, love those good do to others, free gifts. So if Master's giving you this, you got to give him something back. If the woman's doing shit, if it's both of y'all doing it, you got to get something back too, because you eating it, you eating the food, you living off them and everything else. So now, if he give you $1,000 a week, so for instance, right, and you got $1,000 a week worth of negative energy building up, that means you put a negative cloud over everything that you think you own, you, your family, your children, everything else. That's mathematics. And tell me I'm wrong. I had this brother. Well, he might be listening, so I'm not going to mention it. Right? You understand the math here? I'm trying to go a little deeper. I figure somebody's thought these things through by now. Because then you got to give Master something back. You taking from him, you got to give something back. That's the balance. Or you create negative energy for yourself. What form of that negative energy you take? In a car accident or something? You're sick, cancer? That's just the mathematics. And tell me that's the mathematics is wrong. We're on, brothers and sisters. You see here? Money again. This goes looking at it a different way. Here's the boss. Now you work all day. Okay, you work. And then he gives you money for your work. Right? Now, say you put in $1,000 worth of energy that day. Right? You put that much energy in, $1,000 worth of energy, and boss should give you $1,000, something where you can buy $1,000 worth of calories or whatever. Right? But don't work that way. Right? Because he's paying you. Now he would make a profit if he did that. If you put $1,000 worth of energy for him, and he gave you $1,000 worth of, right? Then he would make a profit. So he gives you $500. So now he got a profit. See? Now he don't realize, right, that that's working against him. See, this capitalism is working against them now. It's working against them now. That's why America's in so much financial trouble. There's so much debt and everything else. That's another story together. I want to talk about it from our side. Right? Because you gave him $1,000, he only gave you $500 back. See? That's part of the reason why I think I'll be by this next subject. Right? Okay. So that's what's happening. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now here's this case right here, right? This is another way of putting it. You made, say each one is $1,000, right? So you made $4,000 for him. He gave you 1,000 in return. See, same thing, right? But you produced 4,000 worth of energy. He only gave you 1,000 back. That's part of it. We're still slaves to these people. See, so money, he's using money to, see, money is illusion. Okay? 'Cause like I said, you put in $4,000 worth of energy. He only gave you $1,000 back. So now you got $3,000 worth of positive energy. Who's controlling that positive energy? He is. Because whatever you get, you got to use money to get it. See? So you're actually working harder because, okay, say for instance you went, I think I got a slide for that. Let me just talk to it. Okay, say for instance, you go in and you come and work his farm. Come on there, come on. So you work his farm. And so you work 8 hours, right? And so at 8 hours, right, he gives you a plot of land and some seeds that's worth, say 8 hours was $800. You work $800, right? So he gives you a little plot of land over there that's worth $800 of seeds. Okay. As far as consequence is concerned, but you can't eat them seeds. I mean, maybe you can, but now you got to go in and do some work now to put the seeds and grow that stuff. You see what I'm saying? You see what money does for you? Because he should have gave you food. You worked for food, so if he gave you food, then that's why you got to understand how quality works. You did 8 hours, so you get $8 worth of food, bam. But he gives you $800 worth of the ability to produce food. As far as consequence is concerned, that's even balance is worth $800. But now you got to work to turn that plot of land and those seeds into food. You understand? So that's extra work you got to do to do that. Because you can eat the land, but it's equal. Because they control the quality of energy. I don't think I emphasize quality enough. Because we can't use energy to, we have to convert it to something. In Paradise, so you got to convert your energy to form you can use it. That's why we got to get out of here. Because as long as we're here, it's going to be in the form they want it to be. And so now you got that. And so say for instance, they gave you $800. Okay, well still no, you cannot eat that $100. So they don't get the land, they actually get $800. Well, you can't eat that $800. Now you got to go out and what? And buy food and stuff. Boy, they tell you what kind of food you can buy. Remember, there was a time where you couldn't even go in their stores. So well, you can only buy this type of food. And then how much going to charge for that food? See? So you need food. So say a guy said, we're going to charge $800 for a banana. Well, you're going to have to pay it if that's the only food there is. Yeah, okay, that'd be in. So maybe mathematically the bananas are worth $10. Okay, so you got $790, right, with positive energy, but you can't eat positive energy. You still need food. You still need shelter. That's the quality side of it that you're not aware of. I said, there's two sides of consequence, two sides of energy. Energy and the quality of energy. And so now I'm talking more about the quality because I thought people would think these things through. They haven't. So I'm trying to show you how important the quality is. Because if you had $1 billion and no food around, you can't eat the $1 billion. You had to convert the food. So the conversion process, who controls the conversion process? They do. So they control the quality of energy. Right? So now you sitting right here doing the American dream, because that's the only way they give you dollars, right? That's the only way you can spend dollars. You can't spend it in third dimension. The only thing about it. Only thing you got the dollars. So you spend your energy in this dimension. Right? Unless you know about yourself, how you, right? Then you take and invest in yourself, but you don't know that because they never taught you that. And that's what Suleiman's here to tell you. There's no dimension to yourself. You start investing in it. But without that, you're doing American dream. So they controlling all this, and you going crazy, mad, and everything else because they control and they playing games with you. Like I gave a few examples here. How I deal with you personally as a job. How I deal with you as a husband or a wife and a family. How money affects that situation. Because see, we'll go back here for a minute. I didn't even mention money in that situation. See, I tell you the easy way. See here? Now, maybe he don't give a food in this, he don't give her money. So now she got extra work because you ain't doing anything, so now she got to convert that into food, and she got to convert it into a place to stay and everything else. So that's extra work she got. Because that's your job to take, if it's a female, it's your job to give her quality. So he's not giving her quality, he's just giving her money. So now she got to also produce for you and all create the quality too. Because she had to convert it into food. She had to go burn into food, burn into a place to stay. Huh? So if they just give her food and a place to stay, then okay, that's still massive. But now she got extra because now she got to take. She can't eat food. She can't eat money. She can't live off it. She can't live in money. And who's controlling that? Okay, you can buy this. You can buy so much this. You can only live here. So that's why she's saying, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Master." What's she thanking you for? That you were in bed and knock her out when she'll respect you. You respect me, I got balls. Yeah. That's the math of it. Because you don't understand this. Because if you understood it, right? Like, my son, long story, but he wouldn't take care of business. Well, he had a little job somewhere. Right? But he's living off of another family member. I told him, don't do that. That's bad. He kept doing it. That person passed away. Then he had nothing. They didn't want to stay with us. I said, you can't be doing this. But I know my wife, that's okay. I backed all I don't want to, I know how she feels about that kind of thing. Right? And so I went out and I took two hours a day, right? Just going out, trying to show him, why don't you do Uber? Do something, because he wasn't doing anything at that time. We were working. Why don't you so you can pay your own place and everything else. Uber and DoorDash, all that kind of stuff, right? And he didn't catch on, so I just stopped doing it. I was trying to show him. Did you go out there? Because if you go do that, right? You're going to make as much money because things will work out for you. I tell you, everybody gets the same amount of money. So if everybody gets $1,000 worth a day worth of energy, and if that's what you're doing, you're going to get, you find out that things will work out for you. You get tips or whatever. It's going to work out for you. It's going to be positive. But if you don't believe, well, now I got to work for the devil. I know he's going to give me a lot. I hear black folks say all the time, I know I give me a paycheck. Really? Yeah, he controlling it. I understood this even before I got to Angel. I told I had my own business, a contracting business with a name like Raheem, right? Own contracting business. So when I learned about computer stuff, my own contract business, I was a consultant. And I made lots of money. And they didn't like me. But they loved the work I did. I come in, I fix stuff for them. They used to all call me out. Hey man, because white boys, they stupid as hell. They write stuff and it didn't work. And I had a reputation, man. I was a half-gun world travel. If those old folks know about that story. I go in, I fix it. But once I fix it, man, they keep my money and they get me the hell out of there. And never a problem because I had a reputation. So that followed me. They said, call this guy. I had a reputation. They called this guy. They called me. I'm into a network, right? Hey man, I got stuff. I get stuff all the time right now, especially when COVID came in. Because they always systems that I'm one of the few people that know how to know that system. Trying to get me to come. I said, man, I'm doing this. I ain't got time for that, right? But they was offering me a lot of money to go in and update their systems. I mean, I probably could have made about $500,000 just doing COVID alone. Just doing that. But I focus on this. It's more important. Right? And I get it all the time. See? And I used to go in, I used to see brothers in there, their employees and stuff. I try to hook them. I say, buddy, man, you know, you ain't gotta be doing this, man. You can make money, you can have your own business. I try to show them. Oh man, scared to death. So I did making $20,000, $30,000 a year, whatever, $40,000, working their ass off. Right, working 10 hours a day, then they got a call dude and all that kind of stuff right there. Right? I'm saying, man, you could be doing this. I'm scared. See? I ain't never been scared like that. That's the way math, if you understand the mathematics, it works. If you don't understand it, if you're afraid, if you injure warrior, you can't be injured warrior if you don't understand this. That's what it's all about, energy management. So like I said, so the point is, the devil's he gonna do this, he gonna give you money. And if he does that, he gonna tell you, if he does this, he gonna give you a cake to, I want to try, no man, we only got strawberry cake. You gotta eat the cake they give you, not the one you want. I want to know you can't live, you gotta live here. And now they tell you certain if you got food stamps, only certain kind of foods you can buy. I'm trying to give you some hints about money. I may go into more detail, but like this guy right here, right? He's producing gold. He's getting money for it. Now that's profit. Now they pay for when they do that. They pay the price for it. But I don't want to talk about from their point of view. I'm talking about your point of view. Okay? Because you produce the gold for them, and they give you money. But you can eat that money, so you got to take the money, convert it the way they want you to convert it. You have to buy it over here, Walmart. You have to buy here. You have to buy products they give you for the price they, right? And that's extra work right there. Or you got to pay for a mortgage. You got to pay for a car. All the stuff they control because of money. I can get much deeper into money, but I'm just going to give you highlights. And see here. This is a body. And see, each one of this person do something different. One's a farmer, one's an engineer, one's an architect, one's a laborer. That's the body. Right? So he got a farm. Ain't no money involved here. Okay? You come out there, hey, go to the farm, get something to eat. Right? And right? And then farm said, okay, well, I need another barn. Okay, bam. then hey, the word gets out. Architect come out there, look, put the bond together for them. Architect, labor, put it. That's where we're at. That's called bartering. And that's one thing I do get Wallace. He said he tried to install bartering. Because that's a system they still use over in Africa. That's an old system. No money involved. Because you get direct what you need, because you can't eat money. See? So you want food? No money, just go over there, hey man. You know, because that's what, when we get home, that's what it be. You ain't got no refrigeration, all that kind of stuff. Fresh food all the time. You go in there, bam. And some lettuce, you just pick, hey, go get what you want, bro. Go sis, get what you want. You get it, right? Hey man, just give me a call, man. If we need anything, okay, I'm gonna need I need my bond fixed. I mean, I'm just, we won't need all that, right? Oh, okay. Remember, we tune in, right? I don't know if I should get into that or not. See, because if we ain't gonna have this type of problems. See? But, well, but say for instance we did. I'm just giving an example. See? Well, if something happened to you, everybody's gonna know it. Everybody's gonna know it. So let's say you know, because that's where prayer came from. I tell you, all the prayer, what do they call it? What do they call it? What do you call it when you? I forget. Anyway, believe in stars and stuff. What do they call it? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, all this is knowledge, like cycles and all that kind of stuff, right? Like, it starts with H, I don't know why I can't remember. Anyway, the thing is that all this, like I said, we went down from the mathematical standard, so religion, so we don't understand them anymore. Right? See? We don't understand them anymore, so they became like religion. Because all these religions have a base in science, but we've got the scientific side of it, right? So if we was in trouble, everybody knew it, right? So there's two. Because you tune in, hey man, hey, I fell in the pool here. I fell in some quicksand. Right? Ain't nobody around. Everybody pick up. Next thing you know, somebody's there. The closest person to you gonna come and pull you out. But since we lost the power to tune in, then we call it prayer. Because prayer does get an answer when you tune in. Because one body. So your finger get in trouble, you're gonna say, okay, finger, you use a little finger, I ain't gonna worry about you. You won't pull out the fire or whatever. See, he did this fool talking about prayer. You don't know what the hell he's talking about. That's where it come from. Since I got a little buzz here, hold on a second. Well, I'm cheating a little bit. I'm trying to find this. I don't know why I can't think of his name. People say, well, it may be slipping. I'm going to join Farrakhan with Alzheimer's. Astrology. That's a real science. It's just based on real science, but they got a distorted view of it. Because they are cycles. I've already shown it in past, right? Astrology, all these different things, right? So that's where prayer comes from. And when you get back, that's why I been trying to find that verse, because Jesus said in the Bible, says you won't have to pray when you get hereafter. Because everybody's tuning in. What are you going to pray to? Just think about it. If everybody's tuning in, right, you can tune into the God, You talking just like I'm talking to you. So where's the prayer at? I mean, if it came to that, right? It's like a telephone, right? You see what I'm saying? They don't understand these things. Right? So the thing is that and so that's the way it works. Everybody's working together. Because you want that brother to be happy, because the more his farm is working, the more food he's going to be able to produce. So everybody's going to make sure help, right? And the more food he produces, more varieties and everything, more for everybody. Everybody works together because it's one body. You gotta understand the concept of one body. Like the concept that you gotta understand. It's one body, energy management, discipline. Right? I get all the basic the consequence. These are mathematical. This way our system works. And once you apply it, you can't go wrong. I'm applied 100%. I said we gotta be somewhat practical. We're still here, right? Now my wife, she works. She don't have to. I keep telling her. I keep saying, when are you gonna retire? She wants to do it. She said, I guess she got friends and stuff there. I don't know, but we don't need the money. So she takes the money, and next time that she's off, I get mad because next thing she's off vacation for a week or two. I mean, come on, when she wants to go, I won't stop her. I mean, I wouldn't even try to stop her. What business I got to stop her? She's a goddess. She do what she want to do. I just hope she don't walk away from me. I told her she leave, I'm going with her. Right? But she does. We don't need the money. But she don't want to sit around the house with me all day long. And when she is here, I don't see too much anyway. Because I do the cooking. She cooks on the weekends sometimes, right? And then she goes to the gym. She goes, where you going? I'm going to the gym. I'm going, so I don't see that much anyway. I guess she'll be around. Well, I don't blame her because I'm not the most jovial person around to be around. Anyway, you understand, brothers and sisters? That's the way it works. That's what would be when we get home. Because you can't produce everything. No one can. I can't produce music. I love music. And so there are going to be some people and you think these people singing now, they got nothing. I mean, look at the people that sing now, compared to people that used to sing back when they were singing jazz. Right? They're much better than those singers. And look at people singing when they were singing blues. They're much better than those singers. Right? So what do you think the singers going to be? And we're at the edge right now when new music's about to come out. Let me see where we go here. And see here again, right? You see? There's the farmers, right? Here's the workman. Here's the architect, engineer, laborer. All work together. Okay? Everybody wants to work together because they want to make that farmer happy because they want food, right? Farmer makes them happy because right? Because they keep his farm going. Everybody's one body. Tell me what part of your body you say you don't like, you want to get rid of. You're going to put it in the fire, you're going to cut it off. When you start thinking like that, and that's what Esau, that's what Levites have to start thinking like. They don't think that way now. That's when they go to tribulation, they got to start thinking that way. A lot of Muhammad tried to get them on that path, and Farrakhan took them off that path with Scientology and L. Ron Hubbard and all that crap. Okay, I'm not going to do everything I was going to do here, brothers and sisters, because like I said, I took a lot of time I didn't expect to take. Right? Okay. But I want to talk about this again. Okay? Because this little trick they're doing right now, again, I have to say this again, Elijah Muhammad's not a dummy. But Farrakhan used him as a dummy. If you know how this dummy ventriloquist act works, ventriloquists put words in the dummy's mouth. And so you see the dummy's mouth moving and words coming out. But it's really the words of the ventriloquist. So he's putting his words in his mouth, but where the trick comes in at is now he's acting like the dummy is saying his own words. And now he's a student of the dummy, so he's just saying what the dummy says. But he actually saying his own words, so he put words in Elijah Muhammad's mouth, like that clown did Sunday. A lot of stuff he said, like we talking about Genesis here, all wrong. A lot of people never said Genesis, the darkness meant emotion or whatever crap he said. It was totally wrong. But that's what he's doing. Okay? So I'm trying to show all the tricks out there. But the point is you have to want to step up. And if you're sitting around waiting till the last minute to wake up and get this message, because if you're hearing this message and you ain't responding, you're going to be called to account for that. Because people say, well, how come you got to tell us? You heard this and you ain't tell us, man. Because now we got to, because remember, you got 5 months to prepare. And that's what, I don't think I emphasize that enough. Right? Because you approximately 5 months. I'm not saying it's like 5 months, you got approximately 5. Because in a few more days, you're going to be into tribulation. And beginning of tribulation, most people ain't going to be ready. They'll be catching hell. It says, no hell in your hell be harmed. Once you achieve Hajj, once you achieve discipline, once you achieve the 5 pillars. How long is it going to take you to get to that level? Right? You ain't been to the gym in years, and all of a sudden you're going to go in there, you're going to run 5 miles? No, it ain't happening. But if you've been running a little bit, right, and so I don't know, people that have been around for a few years, they might not be ready either. That's up to them. Because I will not be here during tribulation. You better read it again. Daniel said the elect, the land elect, they was delivered out of it. Jacob's trouble, he's delivered out. Jacob's Shabazz, he's delivered out of it. But he says there was 2 groups left behind. They had to go through tribulation. When they come out, one to everlasting life, one to everlasting appointment. Okay, let me talk a little bit about this, and then I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. But first of all, I hope you understand. I don't know if I've made it clear enough. I tried to show you some points about energy deprivation and how it affects you directly along the lines of quality. But some think in terms of quantity, but like I said, you cannot eat energy in its pure form. You can't. That's what I keep saying. It's mental, it's absorbed by the earth, and it's put in a form you can use. So the devils, they put in a form that their form, see, they control yours, so they control the form. So only way you have paradise, you have to be put energy in a form that reflects your nature. And you can't do that here. I can't do it here. This is part of it too. Can't do it because we have, right? I'm doing this I'm dealing with their reality. Right? I got to get a car. I got to pay for a car. Go to their gym. Right? Use their technology and everything else. So the best I focus all this energy that I can, I try to use it to get information to you. Right? And the rest of it I take and develop myself. I spend 5 hours, 4 hours at the gym every day. And I be working, I don't be sitting there talking, I don't talk to anybody. Right? Keep myself in shape because I know it's about to happen here. So I manage my energy the best I can in the most efficient way I can. Keep myself prepared to get out of here because I can go out here any day. I can go anytime. I already got ready to go. But I don't want to leave you behind. Right now, I'm using my energy to get information to you. And I ain't asking anything for it. It's a free gift. Now it's up to you whether you're going to take energy and start doing something with it, or you're going to sit down and wait last minute and then it may be too late for you. So I made that point, right? But if you're out here depending on the devil, let the devil take care of you and everything else, then you definitely you got this information. If you don't have this information, because a lot of sisters out there they don't know that. They got my sister. They gave her a bunch of babies. And she couldn't work anywhere she wanted to. I came back from Vietnam, she got 3 babies. 3 of them. She had no choice, she had to go on welfare. Plus he told her to go on welfare anyway. Whatever he told her, he had told her the more babies you have, more money you get. I said, why do you have all these babies? Well, I get more money. I said, who told you that? And that clown, shit catch up with people, right? Because I was looking for him. I couldn't. I went to a guy I knew who I used to hang out with, Gerald, when I was in the hood, right? He was over there. And Gerald said, he's in the backyard. He said he ain't coming in. I said, I guess he ain't coming in, but Gerald wouldn't let me go out. Right. So he stayed away as long as I was there until I was in Chicago. Then she had a couple more babies. And then she finally came out to Chicago. I got away from him, Chicago. And then they found that clown in a garbage can. Right? Some homeboys stabbed it into death. Good for his ass. Because he wasn't producing anything. He was just starting to have babies, and he was eating, living where she, living off her, and telling her just have more babies. She didn't know any better. She's all messed up now. She's in a nursing home. She won't. I can't. I'm trying to get her come stay with me. She's scared to death. Because I told her all the time. I said, you gotta stop. I try to, but so she don't want to hear any sermons. But that's what happens. And so he says that they got prostitute and everything else. They got to take care of those babies. Can't blame them for that. Because it ain't their responsibility to do that. The Quran says it's your responsibility to do that, not theirs. And so you don't want your responsibility, but then you tell them to go and beg the devil for it. That's what pimp do. They have her go out there and prostitute and everything else, and then they want to eat from her effort. What is that? Same thing. The same thing. It's still a pimp. You have them go out and make earn for you. From other people, the devil or whatever. That's not the angel message. The angel message is trying to get you away from that. So you get you home. Now, all of us, I never been in that situation, right? But you're not blamed for being in that situation. You're blamed for staying in it. That's when you're going to be destroyed. And we're not going to destroy you. You're going to destroy yourself. We're not going to destroy you. How are we destroying you? You destroyed yourself. Why? Because you couldn't make it out of here. We're going to destroy the traitors that's resistant. But if you don't step up, then you destroyed yourself. If you stay in that situation, then you're not going to make the tribulation. You're going to be right here, and you're going to be destroyed yourself. We didn't do it. You did it. We're going to brothers and sisters. Here's the one in the Middle East right now. America, Britain, and false Israel, they're in control, but they're in trouble. They're pushing against Iran. And that's what's going to happen. False Israel's going to be broken up. America, Britain's going to be set on fire. It's going to happen any day now. I told you war's coming now, it's here. Any day it's going to happen. False Israel's going to be broken, taken down, under siege. Britain is going to be under fire. All the base going to be hit. Happen very soon. Because the fact is, it's only Fox News and NBC, I guess, and some of the other that's telling you backwards. Because if you go out and check every place else, Iran is king over there. They kicked false Israel's ass. False Israel got they got so much destruction over there that they forbid anybody to talk about it. They tell me, I think somebody said they put you in jail if you talk about it. They don't want people to know how bad they got hit. Iran tore their ass up. And they only use a little bit of that power. And so when it starts up again, they're going to finish them off. This is going to happen. This is not watch the weather stuff. This is going to happen very soon. Very soon. Right? And my guess is going to happen this month. Right? Because by September, the war going to be off the page. By September, that's where I see it. That's when they're going to be finally, September, they're going to be finally thrown out of the Middle East. finally thrown out. Forces are gone by the end of September. And then they say they're going to attack us, probably begins of October. Putting dates out there, brothers and sisters. Dates and times. They're going. They control the Middle East. That's a worldwide problem. Because now they can dictate to the world. China's totally dependent upon them, oil. Well, they ain't gonna worry about China at that point. China's totally dependent upon their oil. See, that's what we about China. India's gonna take down America, but that's no story. I'm not get to that. Like, Europe is totally dependent upon it. Europe collapsed. That's where it's chapter 18. Total collapse. Total collapse. Europe's total collapse. Economic collapse. So this is phase 1. And phase 2, right? When they get their ass kicked in the Middle East, they're gonna run to Europe. Britain and America gonna run to Europe. That's where they got their base and everything. They got more men, more base in Europe than they got in the Middle East. Run to Europe. But it's not gonna be welcome committee. Because they're gonna run to Europe that's mad. Because they already angry with Russia. They're already in conflict with Russia. Right? And now Europe is mad because their economy totally collapsed. Because of the bullshit America. They're gonna blame America for all this that war in the Middle East. So now Iran total control of the Middle East. They'll cut the oil off from Europe. Europe has no access to oil. They had access to Russia, but America blew up their pipeline. So now they're totally isolated, no fuel. Right? Total economic collapse. And they're gonna blame America for it. You blew up a pipeline, right? And you started this war in the Middle East, and now Iran won, and now we don't have access to oil, and we can't get any oil from Russia because you started a fight with Russia over Ukraine. So we isolated. It's the only source of oil we got. You can't bring us oil because it takes too long to get over here. You can't fly it over. You have to bring the boats, and the quantity you got to bring, you ain't got enough boats to do that. And plus, it's gonna take a while. It takes too long to get there, weeks. So they go buddy with Russia, make up with Russia. Russia got plenty of oil. So now when they do that, they attack. Now all their base in Europe, where the American troops are, they under attack. Because now Europe is allied with Russia. Plus they have oil on them, and they're going to confiscate all the oil they have. So that's Armageddon. That's the real Armageddon. Armageddon East. That's the result. Now you're going to see this happen here. This should happen somewhere between probably November. Well, no. Kicked out. Got to get kicked out first. So yeah, sometime late October, November, somewhere around there. It'd be after September. I can't say exactly, but they'd be kicked out this year. And then you can have Armageddon West here. Right? And that's when Farrakhan be cast down. Look, read chapter 12. Qudrat brother cast down. Try it again. All this stuff will happen because America will be on a total economic, well, not economic collapse quite yet, but close. That's Farrakhan, yeah. Under fire, being cast out. Riots, economic slowdown, not total collapse yet. But they've been running on the food stores and everything else. Division, which will result in them attacking us if all this goes down. So I talked about yesterday, I'm not going into details. So you look at yesterday if you want to see more details about that. That's when Suleiman takes control of the UN, control of the FOI, Nation of Islam. You know why? That's the Ancient of Days sits when thrones are cast down. America's in trouble, right? Martial law, start getting a draft, because now China and India's rising up, because all the Europeans are being destroying themselves in Armageddon. Total collapse, civil unrest here, collapse, maybe in some form of civil war. Riots. Semitism will be off, the anti-Semitism will be off, so-called anti-Semitism will be off the page. Right? But as far as this goes down, all the so-called Jews here, they'll go ballistic. But they can tell me, how can you let that go down? You don't have any choice. Because that's where Muhammad's going to have a hand in that. And then what happens is, right? That's when black folks come, they attack black folks. That's when they come together, when false Israel was gone. They come together, and then they separated. The demons wore the sheep clothing from the sheep. Wore sheep clothing as demons. Right? They come together as an army too. They come together as an army. But their purpose is the same thing like after Civil War, so-called Civil War, they had two groups, the demons and the original. The original wanted to get the hell off of a plantation. The demons, they want to stay on the plant sharecropper. They want to stay with Master. Why? Well, because they identify with Master. 50 years later, right? The original people, what? Afrocentric, start thinking Africa movement, and Eurocentric. You got to be more like white people. I think that was Du Bois. Right? Du Bois and Washington. What's his name? Booker T. Washington. I think it was after the divide between these two. I think Booker T. Washington was Afrocentric, and Du Bois was Eurocentric. I'm not sure, I'm having mixed up. It's that divided because you got two people. They raped our women so much that half the blacks in America are demons. They're white folks in black skin. It's just a half. But they don't come together as an army. But their idea, just like when 50 years later, what? Integrated separation. Elijah Muhammad, or you might say Malcolm, and Martin Luther King. One integration with close to them, I want to get the hell away from them. And so now it's total. One finally separation, and one want to take the country. So demons going to fight to take the country. They're going to succeed. After 5 months, they're going to have taken America. America was totally messed up, totally incohesive, right? Everybody's against everybody. Cannibalism is going to reign. So they're going to be able to take control of the army. But it's going to be pure victory because they're going to take that time that the goat arrives. And that's the time we leave. It tells you, it says the Red Sea was parted. Right? The Red Sea is Red China. Part. They didn't know how through. Closed in. Pharaoh's armies. Who's Pharaoh's armies at that time? That's the demons. Right? Because remember, they parted Pharaoh. Black-skinned devils. They closed it and wipes them out. And during that time, right, that's when the goat arrives. So the goat came from the west, feet not touching land. That has to be China, India, because they both have coastal lands. That means they can leave and come across the Pacific Ocean, feet not touching land, to America. And it said America, this ram, he came from the east. So it showed they joined, that's where they connected, right on America. And they said, go kick this. Yeah, it's right here. Both of them have coastlines, China and India, on the Pacific Ocean. So that means if you wouldn't touch land, so they got here. And these came from the east, from Europe, Gog and Magog. So you could battle right here. Right? And they destroyed Ram. Right? But when they get here, the Ram's already been defeated to some extent because the demons knocked them out. They said, we're trying to take this land. So they've been fighting the white folks to get this land from them. They want to take America. And then so once they got control of America, that's when goat arrives. That's when nature down departs, the open sea let them through. Terry chapter 17 says these 10 horns, they take the harlot, take down the harlot. So he said it was God that put the spirit in them to do it. It means Master Muhammad's controlling the affair. And so it's okay. Whatever reason how he's doing it, that's up to him. They let him through. They close in, wipe out the demons who have control of America at the time. They finally got control of it, just to lose it. Then they burn the place down. Yeah, I'm going to have to close out, brothers and sisters. Okay, deceived. What it's saying is, Sunnism, Islam is mass Islam. But when you talk to Sunnis, they don't talk mass. They don't. They're two-dimensional. They had a form of Islam that's they're the jinn, but not the substance. The form, not the substance. They don't talk mathematics. They talk anything, religion, anything but no mathematics. We don't have a substance. But we do have a substance. That's assumed out here to give you the substance. Boom. So let's look at another way here. So we down here in a two-dimensional world with them. Allah will lift you up to clean earth. That means you're still thinking this way, thinking it's two-dimensional. It's the angel start make you think three-dimensional. Okay? Let this world go. Okay? But you gotta let the other one go. My brothers and sisters. It's the Arab slave trade on .com. That's what Holmes says. They said we're not going anywhere. It says right in the next verse, he didn't repeat that Negro butt on Sunday. It says between the Great River Euphrates and the Egyptian River, that's Arabia, not Palestine. Okay, I will put this last one, mind delusion. I'm gonna close out here, brothers and sisters. I've mentioned this over and over for the last couple of weeks, last weeks anyway. This is what they tell us we was in Africa. It's the picture they tell us. Savages, cannibals, eaten by lions, no clothes, ignorant, booga booga booga. That's what they told us. And most of us believe it. You got black authors that's writing that down. But this is how actually were. Timbuktu, Cairo, Carthage, we have major cities, the people you saw in the jungles that they show you, not that Tarzan stuff they made up. Whole land of Africa, all blacks, and one white naked man ruled the whole damn thing. Tarzan, king of the jungle. And I bought that stuff too when I was a kid. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I mean, how dumb can we be? Whole African continent, and one white man with no clothes on living in a tree ruled the whole damn thing. The king of the jungle, Tarzan, king of the jungle. But this is where we really were. They don't want you to know that. Why? Because this is why. Because if you thought this was where we came out, savages, bone on nose, that kind of, then you think it's an upgrade. And you appreciate, yeah, man, you lift us up. You take this an upgrade. You love Master. Thank you for saving us from starvation and eating by lions. And thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. From animals and worship sticks and stones and all that stuff. Because most of the first Muslims come over in person, blacks were Muslim anyway. See? And they wouldn't walk around naked. But I want to tell you that. Those are the Moors. Check it out, Moors. So you love them because they look what they did for you, man. Lift you up from this. But if you knew what this was, you go tell them fuck themselves. Go say, hey man, look what you took us down. See, here we had these crazy African names, Jinka, Juka, Jika, Jiko. My name is Jinka, Juka, Juka, Jika. Look at here. Now my name is Anthony Perry. See, I got me a good name now, Anthony Perry. Tony Greenspan. Over here I was Juke Iko Muga Agaba. See? Tuma Abaluba. See, now I can talk. bleeding in sticks and stones, man. You saved me from all that. Thank you, Master. I love you, Master. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. You saved me from that stuff. That's the attitude you would have. And most of our people had an attitude. Because everybody taught them in the church and everything else. Why would you be in the church? You'd be ashamed of wearing that cross around your neck. What's the history of Christianity? What's the history of Christianity? Again, what's the history of Christianity? Enslavement. 40 years of enslavement. How you maintain that system with terror, 24/7, enslavement, starvation, beating, rape, consistent rape, not just the females, the males, all kinds of terror. And you know, I'm looking at this little statue. They got a statue right there. I gotta find it, right? They got a black person. They made it. This is back in slavery. He's on his knees with his mouth open, and then somebody pissing in his mouth. That was their pastime. Next thing, like having fun. Hey, man, let's have some fun. Because they had basketball and football, so they wanted to have some fun. So they had sport with you. One of them was burning you alive. They put paper on the paper. So we're gonna burn a nigga. They put it in the paper. Everybody knew about it. And black folks knew that Friday come or whatever, they hide because they know they catch anybody on the street. They catch it. And everybody called a picnic, tell where it's gonna be at and everything else. They ain't hide it. The sheriff and everybody's there. They sit around, they got their sandwiches and everything else and picnic baskets, burning your ass up. You got actually pictures on it on YouTube. I published a picture on it. They shut it down. So, hey man, you can't, whatever. Can't tell the truth, huh? Yeah. So you be grateful and everything because see, you step up. But if you know you was there, hey man, you want to kick some ass because you step. Look what you've done to us. Look what you've done to our women. Okay, I'm gonna close out, brothers and sisters. Just watch this and then watch next one out. Oh, my voice. And see, in darkness, they set up that false vision, 1948, to counter Elijah Muhammad saying that we're true Abraham. So they set false Israel to prove. And the Arabs, they turn themselves white because they're actually black people. Turn themselves white through marriage and chemicals, right? Because they don't want our land back either. So in doing that, then they can say that the false Israel are their brothers. Because they know they ain't their brothers. We are their brothers. But since they white like them, they say, see, Abraham was white. And we see, you brother, you have no idea what these people, unless they're going to try to keep you deceived. So here, nighttime, that's the sign they tell you, the sign in the heavens. So the light's coming on. False are being exposed. So now that will cause unity. That will bring our people together. Because you have a common vision that brings unity. Because everybody false goes down means we must be true to Abraham. The lies being exposed. Black folks saw that. That'd be the cause, beginning of unity. Well, if you notice right here, this is a white boy here in an FY uniform on Farrakhan. It's a white boy right here. I'm gonna let this play, brothers and sisters. Then I'm gonna close out.
Although the Nation of Islam, does not presently advocate violence by its members, the group does preach hatred of the white race and racial separatism. The membership of the Nation of Islam is organized and poses a real racial threat. The Nation of Islam is responsible for the largest black nationalist newspaper, which has been used by other black extremists. the Nation of Islam appears to be the personal fiefdom of Elijah Muhammad. When he dies, a power struggle can be expected and the Nation of Islam could change direction. We should be prepared for this eventuality. We should plan how to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation, deleting the race hatred and separate nationhood aspects. In this connection, Chicago should consider what counterintelligence action might be needed now or at the time of Elijah Muhammad's death to bring about such a change in Nation of Islam philosophy. Important considerations should include the identity, strengths, and weaknesses of any contenders for Nation of Islam leadership. What are the positions of our bureau deletion informants in regard to leadership? How could potential leaders be turned or neutralized? The alternative to changing the philosophy of the Nation of Islam is the destruction of the organization. This might be accomplished through generating factionalism among the contenders for Elijah Muhammad's leadership or through legal action in probate court on his death. Chicago should consider the question of how to generate the factionalism necessary to destroy the Nation of Islam by splitting into several groups. Bureau deletion. Do you think that the FBI just folded and walked away? Read this document carefully. Did not the FBI accomplish each of their goals? Did not Farrakhan deliver everything the FBI wanted? We should plan to change the philosophy of the Nation of Islam to one of strictly religious and self-improvement orientation. Sunniism, Scientology. Deleting the race hatred. Don't call devils anymore.
If you notice it,
Deleting the separate nationhood aspects. We ain't going nowhere. No existing economic program. The reason why these facts are ignored is because those that surround him are demons, fools, idolaters and FBI agent handlers who make sure he stays on track.
I gotta do this. Do you mind? Yes, I'm gonna do something. I don't want to put my brother on the spot. See, this is this. This is something else. Love and faith transcends color. And the reason why we embrace Father Pfleger as a brother is because we find him on the battlefield of justice, being a true disciple of Jesus. And the last thing I'll say is you'll never call us racist.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because this day that we honor
Yes, sir.
Master Fard Muhammad, if you see an image of him, put his image up.
Yes, sir.
That's the man whose father was a black man and his mother a Caucasian. And how many of us have a parent that's a Caucasian or grandparent? It's not about color. It's about our submission to the will of God. And in that we find common ground and unity.
Yes, sir.
So I'm only one shade lighter than you, so And Mustafa may be 4 more shades lighter. We a family.
Yes, sir.
Let's stay a family and be a family and love each other as God would have us to love each other. We love you, Father. Happy Savior's Day. Thank you. I had to do that. We love you. Go ahead.
One more time, brother.
Washington, D.C. Louis Farrakhan suspects that his father may have been Jewish. At least that's what he tells Henry Louis Gates Jr. in the current issue of the New Yorker magazine. Speaking of his father's white Portuguese parents, the Nation of Islam leader said, "I'm going to tell you something. You really want to know what I think? I think they were members of the Jewish community." He added, "I believe that in my blood, and not in a bad way. Because when I was a little boy I used to love listening to the Jewish cantors in Boston. They had a program, and every week I would listen. I was struck by the cantor, and I've always loved the way they sing or recite the Torah." Gates, citing an academic source, says Farrakhan's assertion about his lineage is highly probable given that nearly all people of Iberian descent in Jamaica and Barbados are of Sephardic Jewish ancestry. Farrakhan was born in 1933, the son of May Clark, who was from Barbados. He was named Gene after his father, a light-skinned man with straight hair from Jamaica. His father, Gates writes, was a philanderer whom the family rarely saw. "If in my lineage there are Jews, I would hope that in the end, before my life is over, I not only will have rendered a service to my own beloved community of black people but will also have rendered a service to the Jewish community," Farrakhan was quoted as saying. In the interview with Gates, which reportedly lasted 9 hours, the Nation of Islam leader also made reference to wise Jews who plan evil, the international conspiracy of Jewish bankers and overwhelming Jewish complicity in the slave trade. Jewish groups expressed outrage over Farrakhan's latest public statements. Farrakhan's effort to make it appear that he is merely criticizing the evil he finds in his own Jewish antecedents is a reflection of the bizarre and ludicrous nature of his entire behavior towards Jews, Phil Baum, executive director of the American Jewish Congress, said in a statement. Meanwhile, a planned protest against the Anti-Defamation League of B'nai B'rith fizzled last week when Washington, D.C., police denied former Nation of Islam spokesman Khalid Abdul Muhammad entrance to the B'nai B'rith office. Flanked by 4 bodyguards in black fatigues, Muhammad took a moment to rail against the ADL and the Jewish community before he departed the scene. "This is a criminal organization and a criminal enterprise that has lied and spied on black leaders and black organizations," said Muhammad, who was dismissed as Farrakhan's spokesman in 1994 in the wake of a national controversy surrounding a vehemently anti-Semitic speech he delivered at Keene College in New Jersey. Muhammad called the ADL and its parent organization, B'nai B'rith, one of the main arteries of improper propaganda and nefarious activity that has greatly influenced the larger American Jewish community. In brief remarks to reporters, Muhammad said the black man and black woman are the chosen people of God and we want to put an end to this lie of the so-called Jews, these people who crawled out of the caves and hills of Europe just a few years ago claiming our birthright. Standing astride Muhammad was Malik Zulu Shabazz, the leader of the Washington, D.C.-based Unity Nation who gained notoriety for leading anti-Semitic chants at Howard University student rallies in 1994. Shabazz said the ADL is an oppressive organization that comes from a people that are by nature evil and wicked.
Wall Street, brothers and sisters. Read carefully. You was the product. That's not down in Mississippi, that's New York. And in Wall Street, these lined slaves up along the wall. And you was the commodity, not money, you. Wall Street. Read it. Capitalism. Capitalism started when they enslaved you. That's the monetary side of slavery. Slavery is oppressive side, servitude side. What's the mind? They're the company name. They're the company name for it, brothers and sisters. What's the monetary side? Capitalism. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. By definition, that's slavery. Maximum profit, minimum overhead. It means they get maximum work out of you and pay you nothing. That's this capitalism ideal. It started, right, 1680, the same time when they start enslaving you. Not a good system. It's a system designed for this period of time. It will not exist in the hereafter. It will not exist next year. Talking about the deserts. Close now, brothers and sisters.